Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the best skill tree upgrades to get early on in Black Myth Wukong. So the Self Advance is our skill tree here, so going into the menu here, there's a few different areas that we can upgrade. So we got our abilities on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we have our spells. Now, some of them are a little bit more effective than others, which I'll be covering, and I think that the best one to start off with is upgrading our foundation, because there's some skills here that are just so much more useful than others. So our stamina one here is typically where we want to be focusing a lot of our energy to. Obviously things like survival, getting more health makes a big difference, so these two are pretty good. So giving yourself more max health as well as increased stamina is super effective, but I think it's actually best to go with our simian agility here. So this reduces the stamina cost of dodging, allowing us also to progress further down the list. So dodging is something we have to do often in combat here, especially in boss fights. It's going to be essential that we do dodge often, and lowering the stamina cost is really important. But the next one here, the deft evasion, I think this is one of the most important ones early on in the game. So it makes each initial dodge more agile and flexible. So when you're dodging, you get more reach. As you can see just above me there, this is huge because it increases the dodge distance, which means you're having more invincibility frames to avoid getting hit. Now this also works when you're dodging towards the enemy, and a lot of the times I think it's actually best to dodge towards the enemy or to the side. Dodging backwards is instinctively what you want to do because it just gets distance you further from the enemy, but most attacks are going to come out straight like that, so dodging to the side or towards the enemy actually ends up being better to line up the invincibility frames. Also, getting endurance increase is good because you're going to want to sprint in combat, so holding on the top button there is important. Also, you can press the L stick to get that boost to our sprint speed. And also reducing the stamina cost, because you need all four of these to be able to get this one here, composure, which is absolutely essential. So dodging no longer interrupts a light attack combo, and this also applies to perfect dodges. What's nice about this is you can start an attack combo and dodge midway through it and continue your attack combo without losing a beat. That's so important because there's a lot of times in boss fights that we're going to be dodging frequently, so being able to get this and continue to do your light attack combo is extremely useful. So highly recommend going with composure there as soon as possible. Obviously upgrading your health and your stamina as required, but I don't even have that many health upgrades yet, and I still find that works well. But eventually you'll be able to get down here and increase the focus that you gain from your perfect dodges, which is important because getting more focus allows you to be able to obviously do more damage, because that allows you to do your charge attacks more frequently, which is really important. This game comes down to doing perfect dodges often. You can reduce some jump costs as well, but that's not super essential. This also can give you damage reduction. I don't recommend going too far down. You just want to get down to this bold move here, this composure being the most essential one there. Also like this one that gives us a further engage distance with our light attack starter. So this is nice, especially if you pair it later on with the Immobilize technique. This is super effective because being able to close distances is important, because we're using a weapon staff, and you need to make your hits, so missing an attack is annoying because you waste stamina and you don't hit the enemy. This allows us to reach a further distance, so it's one that we can even upgrade twice because it's super effective there. But the effortless finisher is also nice too, because it allows you to gain more focus, so that gives us the chance to do our heavy attacks more frequently. Obviously upgrading the ability to heal or get more health is nice, and critical hit chance, but I think the first ones we should go for is getting this all the way down to composure. And then as well on our staff stances, this is important because this increases the amount of focus that we get. So once we have 3 invested into here, we're able to get the focused attack. The pillar stance is nice, but it is a little bit tricky because you do stand on your pillar, or you stand on your staff, and you get the ability to dodge with this, but I have a hard time getting this one off compared to the other stats. So I just went with the smash stance, which increases our health recovery upon consuming a focus point. Gives us the ability to sprint while charging, which I think is a really good one, because there's times where we don't have any focus and we want to get some, so you can press and hold the Y button there, and you can actually sprint while charging this up, and then you can unleash that charge attack there. So that is really nice, especially if you're against a boss that requires you to run around. You can use this just to avoid their attacks and charge up that charge attack of your own, which will stagger them. So I really like the Force Unbound. But I'd recommend just going with 3 of these here to be able to unlock the next focus point, which is important. So also performing heavy attacks during a light combo with a focus point consumed allows the Destined One to execute Resolute Strike. Can see through enemies' attacks and nullify their damage. So that was pretty good, but I think the most essential one here is the Force Unbound. Now, one of the trees that you should obviously get filled up as much as possible is the Immobilize, because this is a technique that we're going to be using frequently. So all of these are very important. So Crash, each talent level moderately increases damage dealt to immobilized enemies. That's huge because we're going to be using this often. I like to start combat off when you're fighting a boss by using this, because being able to freeze an enemy is important because that allows you to get your immobilized recovery back, but also get a lot of damage in at the start. And you can use something like the poison summons to apply poison easily while they're immobilized. Also, this is a nice one, the stagnation. So hitting an immobilized enemy with light attacks extends the duration of the next immobilization used against a target. So this one's great because you're going to be able to stun them for longer. It's super useful. So go with that one. Another one, easy prey. So when an enemy is immobilized, massively increase the engage distance of a light attack starter. So this is great if you've used this kind of as a panic and the boss is a little bit further away from you, so you get a bigger jump attack towards them. And again, this pairs well with this one here, which increases the distance of a light attack starter. So going with that is super useful. I recommend filling the immobilized tier as much as you can as quick as possible, because this is something you're going to use in every single boss fight. So when the enemy is immobilized, the moment they attack extends the mobilization duration and massively increases the damage. So Evan Seen here, not just a great band, but also extremely useful because you should use your immobilize when the enemy's coming at you to attack. There's actually some bosses that will block your immobilization if you're not doing it while they're attacking. So if you can get this off while they're attacking, you'll get a big boost to the damage and the duration, allow you to do a bunch more damage and keep you safe. Another thing is sometimes the enemy will attack through after their immobilization ends. So if you can use this, you'll be able to block them from attacking you, but then also position yourself behind them so you can continue to attack. And if you get a charged attack off, that'll also further stagger them. So that is also really nice. Now, you can know with some of the other spells here, like this one's good for each talent level moderately increases the damage of the next attack after a perfect dodge. So that one's, without speaking, you're going to be doing perfect dodges often. A big recommendation that I have for you too is if you're struggling against a boss, go in and don't fight. Just try to get as many perfect dodges off as you can. Trust me, this works extremely well with being able to take down bosses, because the ability to not get hit is important, because there's some bosses, especially the secret boss I just finished today, it hits and takes out pretty much your entire health bar if you're not paying attention. So that's obviously not great, but putting this all into practice, typically we want to start off with immobilize as much as possible, building up our posture there. We're getting shot at there, but once you get that fully charged, you're able to do the charge attack there, which I almost have a full posture bar. And with that charge attack, you're going to heal yourself a little bit, but also it staggers the enemy so that they can't attack. So that is really nice. Also, getting the ability to twist your staff like this to block attacks is nice. It does unfortunately cause a bit of stamina loss, so that is one thing to keep in mind. I was on fire there, so I was getting hurt, but the immobilize being one of the most effective strategies. The red tides is nice too, being able to turn into the red tide there, or Guan Z, is really great. But whenever you get that focus attack built up, those focus attacks are huge against boss fights because you can stagger them and it'll allow you to deal a bit more damage. So there are some just basic tips and tricks, as well as where you should focus your skill tree in the self-advance here. So hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.